Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Redskins Talk TV. Just got finished eating lunch. Didn't make this video yesterday, so I'm making it now, obviously. But yesterday was a train wreck. Go up against the Indianapolis Colts, and it was a competitive game. Unfortunately, we got our asses kicked, 49-27. Andrew Luck went in and did what Andrew Luck does. He lights up the scoreboard. Very smart young man. Picked apart the defense, but throughout the game, you know, Colt McCoy, he had some pretty good passes. You know, we scored 27 points. You know, it was I don't know if we want to call it a valiant effort, but Colt McCoy, he looked pretty decent out there. He unfortunately got sacked 6 times. You know, Alfred Morris didn't get as many carries as I would like for him to have gotten. I'm driving, so. You know, and I should be making a video while I'm driving, but fuck it. But we didn't have that established run game. I think we were doing pretty well because with our, you know, with the run defense for the Indianapolis Colts, there was an opportunity there for Alfred Morris to have a pretty productive day. Unfortunately, that just didn't pan out. But also, Jordan Reed had a good game. Congrats to him. I wasn't even thinking that he was going to play because at first they had him listed as questionable. But he went in, showed out. I think he had like 10 or 12 catches, something like that. But he was open early and often. So glad to see him back on the field. Deshaun Jackson, he was making some pretty good catches. He left with a tibia contusion. Pierre Garçon didn't have that many catches. You know, so teams are blanketing him. He does make some pretty good plays when he catches, but, you know, it's rather stifling for him. But our defense, Jesus Christ, our defense, they couldn't stop shit. They really couldn't get much pressure. I mean, in the first quarter, they had a couple of interceptions or turnovers, so that's always good because whenever we get turnovers, that's something for us to build upon. But we weren't able to do anything except get 3 points off of it. And the offense stalled. The defense, you know, all game long, David Emerson was victimized, playing about 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. And you guys know how I feel about corners when we play that far off. It pisses me off because they really don't. I think Hakeem Nicks is probably the biggest receiver they've got. And all it takes is for you to jam them at the line of scrimmage because Andrew Luck, he times it, he puts the ball up, receiver catches it. And that's all he was doing is playing pitch and catch. And he was abusing our defense all fucking game. There were a couple times where Philip Thomas got himself out of position. I know when Fleener, the tight end, got that one long touchdown, Philip Thomas put himself out of position. He is playing the strong safety on the left side, and he came running across to the right. Fleener got behind him, and there was one-on-one coverage with him and number 38. I forgot his name. But Philip Thomas put himself out of position and had the oh fuck moment when he saw the ball go over his head. So, frustration all the same. Frustration all the way around. Breland, he did fairly well. I think he may have yielded 1 touchdown going up against T.Y. Hilton. And I told you guys, T.Y. Hilton, he's a small receiver, but damn, that brother's fast. So he had a couple of catches. I know he had 1 touchdown. So I think we did okay shutting him down. But I forgot the other receiver who got 2 touchdowns, one for 49 yards, the other one for like 77 yards. It was exasperating watching our defense not be able to stop the Colts offense. I think the Colts may have punted maybe 3 or 4 times at the most, I think. But we looked terrible out there on defense. Now, offense, once again, we looked fairly well. To score 27 points is always a good thing, but the more points you score over the opponent is what matters the most. But special teams really didn't let us down, so can't really critique them. They've been doing their job. I think Andre Roberts still runs laterally, so they need to decide whether to put someone else back there that's going to get the fuck up the field. But that's pretty much it as far as my assessment of the game, we lost miserably. But I wanted to touch on something. As a Redskins fan, regardless of whether it's RG3, Colt McCoy, Kirk Cousins, I'm all for whoever's going to be under center to lead us to victory. And there's a double standard, because once RG3 came back, all the haters had this serious critique of him from his very first game against the Vikings, where we lost 26-29, or 29-26. And RG3 kept getting the lead, and the defense kept giving it up. Excuse me, gotta park, reverse this bitch back in. Yeah. But anyway, we kept getting the lead, and the defense kept giving it up. But RG3 got the blame for it, and I'm trying to figure out how that works. Because I've had arguments with people who says he's not scoring enough points. But 26 points is enough to win. However, when the other team scores more points, how is that the fault of RG3? Because he doesn't play defense. But then again, neither does Colt McCoy. So yesterday on Facebook, one of the communities that I'm on, this one gentleman had the nerve to say that he's a football coach and RG3 doesn't look well, and the fact that Colt McCoy's he passed for 392 yards and got 27 points, that made him a better quarterback. And I'm sitting there thinking, the score is 49-27. So you can put up astronomical passing numbers, but if the other team has more points than us, we fucking lost. That's the point. So I'm sitting there talking about this guy because he's trying to claim that people don't know about football if they're thinking that RG3 would have been able to do better. We can win 3-0. But this guy claimed that because he was a football coach. And that really baffled the fuck out of me, because I'm thinking, as a football coach, you should know better. The team with the most points wins. You can have miserable statistics when it comes to passing yards, run yards, things like that, as long as the score is more than the other team. That's common sense. I think all sports have it the same way. You score more than them, you win. And a lot of people are, especially the RG3 haters, they're saying because if RG3 was under center, we would have lost. Maybe. But Colt McCoy lost. And I'm not against Colt McCoy at all. He did an outstanding job yesterday, but the fact is he lost. He came in to spell for one game and played against the Cowboys, but that was mostly attributed to the defense shutting the Cowboys down. But because he's a quarterback, I guess we can say he won the game. It really doesn't matter. But he lost this game. People don't seem to realize that when Colt McCoy was in Cleveland, he got his shit kicked around because of a bad offensive line. So the double standard is this. If RG3 is getting sacked 6 times, RG3 haters say it's because he's holding the ball too long. They're not saying anything about the offensive line not protecting him. They're not saying anything about the defense yielding points against the opponent. But all of a sudden yesterday, the RG3 haters didn't say shit except for the offensive line sucks and the defense sucks. Wait a minute. If Colt McCoy got sacked 6 times, wouldn't he be holding the ball too long? Because that's what they say about RG3. If Alfred Morris doesn't have a productive game, it's because the offensive line isn't opening holes for him. He's only had one good game this season, over 100 yards. So that's the double standard with RG3 haters. It's the ass backwards logic, as I call it. You can't say that one quarterback who gets 6 sacks times is holding the ball too long, but not say the same about the other quarterback that gets sacked equally. So I just wanted to leave that for you guys to marinate on, because once again, I'm a diehard Redskins fan. I bleed burgundy and gold. I love my team. But when I'm having these debates, I would hope that there's a bit of common sense. And I'm not saying that I'm right about everything, but I observe enough football because with my YouTube channel, I don't want to get on here like some ass clown and start talking about a whole bunch of nonsense that doesn't make any sense at all. I like to refer to previous games that my opponent has gone up. That way I can get a general idea of who the key players are to watch out for. And that's what I do with my videos. I talk about the weak points of our offense and defense. I look at the strengths. I look at some of the things that we need to do. Once again, I'm just an armchair quarterback. But it doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to realize that two different quarterbacks getting sacked under the same offensive line, the problem is not with the quarterback. Now, RG3 haters, they finally saw the light yesterday with the offensive line, but they don't attribute them to the failure of RG3. So, that's the double standard once again. Anyway, to my Redskins family, hell to the Redskins.